Yeah, you got it on. It's good. Yeah.
I found myself thinking today, how do I introduce Mr. Sarkany? And my heart keeps swelling. And now that I've spent about 15 minutes speaking with him, I can tell you're just an amazing person in many ways. He's come here tonight to share his story as a Holocaust survivor. But I've also had the privilege of learning he's a father of 2. He's a grandfather of 5. He travels the state and the area and the region into other states, telling the story, giving his life history, and making sure that we remember. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Sarkany.
I'm very pleased that so many showed up. I came from New Haven, and that was able to drive from the fog and the rain. And I had to make it through the night, get you no far. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I do have an accent. I came as a 20, and you don't lose it. And you're bringing music, but later when you don't. So very brief introduction. The next slide can tell you just a few points. I was born in Budapest, Hungary. I will show you the map to make sure that you know where it is. Hungary in 1936. Now, I tell you the students, if you do your arithmetic correctly, I am 39 years young. 5 years money. When I was in graduate school in the early 60s, there was a television program which I watched, like to go to synagogue with the church. Never missed it. Jack Benny show. Jack Benny was one of the cleanest, best Jewish comedians existed in this country. And one of the episodes, age was their topic. And he said, I'm only 39. I said, that's a good number. Having that later. Actually, that's Halloween, I was 87. So, it was already mentioned that I'm married. I will be married 54 years in July. And I can't consider them to the same lady. It's not common anymore. We have 2 children, they're grown, they are over 50. My daughter is a clinical psychologist, my son is a radiologist. We have their own families, and we only see them on special occasions, like the holidays and anniversaries and birthdays. The kids are in college and they have their own thing. I have been giving talks over 15 years. Practically 95% of the talks I gave were public schools. The Connecticut State Legislature a few years back mandated that every school must provide Holocaust educational program. And that is part of it, so I go around. This morning I was in Berlin, Connecticut, to give a talk to 10 and 11 graders. Only time I give 2 talks when I have something in the evening, it's not very often. Okay. I usually give anywhere from 65 to 80 talks. Schooling. Schooling means September to July. It's an important topic. So I feel that it's very important to have sort of a primary source, even though I was one of the luckiest who survived as a child. So there is no politics in my talk. It is basically the history and my experience with my family and the environment I live in. There is only a couple of slides which relate to politics, but is directly affecting anti-Semitism. The next slide will give you a map of Europe. You see the third thing? That's Hungary. In Eastern Central Europe, depends who you talk. Hungary used to be about 3 times as big as it is today. Is the correct enough. See, geography changes rapidly than it goes. So a little more information about Hungary, the next slide will show you. So here it is. On the west, you have Austria. In the north, there are 2 countries. In your lifetime, there used to be one country, Czechoslovakia. Now it is Czech Republic and Slovakia. Slovakia used to be Hungary, another nation. You go over there to Bratislava, practically you can manage with Hungarian without speaking a word of Slovak. When you are moving to the east, there's a little piece of the Ukraine, and some parts of which is to the Ukraine used to be Hungary. And here is Romania, which is the southeast. A whole bunch of things which is now in the border were also Hungary. The geography changes because of the war and conflict. The major change was in the southwest. You see this piece? That used to be called Yugoslavia. Now it is 8 countries. Then Bill Clinton was the president that was practicing the country when the country broken up. There was a dictator guy which was sort of a mark communism from Boris Tito. So where people don't even know those names. So the closest one to Hungary is Slovenia, Croatia, and Turkey. The Danube River is the second largest river in Europe. It's coming from Germany, from the Black Forest, comes through Austria. You can see that blue line and come down. Take a line in Hungary, come down and end up in the Black Sea. Budapest used to be two cities in the 1800s. On the west side of the river Danube was Buda, and the east side was Pest. Eventually they merged for the capital city. It's just a little bit of geography, things change and exist. The next slide is something which is correct today. It's affecting us every day. Doesn't matter how young or how old you are. Go to the next slide. The bystander. This one was written by a German Prime Minister. He tells you exactly what you should do. You cannot be a bystander. It is our responsibility as human beings to speak up when you feel that something is not right in our environment. Nobody else will do it. If you let somebody else do it, it's not going to get right. So it is our responsibility to speak up. You can start talking to your friends, relatives, churches, synagogues, clergy, representatives, but your voice must be heard. Why? Because here it is. First they came for the communists, and I did not object because I was in the communists. And they came for the socialists, and I did not object because I was in the socialists. Then they came for the legalism. Didn't object because I was in the legalism. And they came for the Jews. And I don't object because I was the Jew. She did the one, then they came for me. And there was no one left to object. If you speak up, hopefully you get results. But if not, you are hurting yourself, your family, community. So it is very important, particularly the young people whom I talk. But they are in social media and they are all confused what's there. So it is very important. Don't help them. When my children were living tiny things, they had a black coat, and the doctor gave prescription, and I went to the drugstore, they got the medicine. I had to wait. So I was walking in the hallway, in the aisle, just look around. I overheard two clerks with talking. And they talked about the 32. Look at it, the pharmacy happened to be huge. Look at it, what did I do? I walked over there and I said, what did you say? He said, quiet and disappeared. That's not really. I got the president of the pharmaceutical company. McDonald. It was 2 weeks, they were not in that story. You have to have action. So you have to be an upstander all the time. Well, let's go to the next slide. The next slide is very important. Why? Because it provides the relationship between you and I. Every result received a Nobel Peace Prize for his effort to promoting human life, avoid prejudice, trying to improve our world. He passed away a few years back. I had a privilege to meet him. He wrote a book called The Night. And a paperback, 99 pages. You can read it in 20 minutes. I did. It's his life story when he was with his family taken from, at that time, it was Hungary, which is now Romania. The various concentration camps, that marches, he survived. His father passed away about 3 days before liberation in the camps in Germany. Brilliant man. The second forget all that work because he found that humanity is critical. Also, why this is important? Because in today's world, there are too many people who will deny Holocaust. This will never happen. It's a joke, it's a hoax. The Jews make it up. Their own personal benefit. So if I didn't listen to your witness, I am the one. I was a child and survived that in a Budapest ghetto. Becomes a witness. It's important. People denying a lot of things, but they are not willing to face reality. We must learn history. I have a lot of notes. Winston Churchill, who was Prime Minister of England during the war, one of his speech is that and I quote, those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. You know, I lived through the Second World War. We thought that we learned. We didn't. After Second World War, we had all kinds of conflicts, massacres. I couldn't believe that there was a Vietnam War. I lived it through on the televisions. Afghanistan, they are just current things. We cannot guarantee it. But our class, every day, we turn our television, something in here, something in there. Always. We have a sick society. Not always we watch them. We should have patients 24 hours a day to treating them for all kinds of issues. So let's go to the next slide. Many people talking about when the Holocaust is told. In that heart, oh, there are 6 million Jews. Wow. I was in Poland last week. They said all the death camps, all the concentration camps, spent their 10 days. I was crying for 10 days. It's hard to handle what the Nazis did. But nobody talks about all the 6 million who perished. They are not Jews. There are 12 million human beings were slaughtered by Nazi Germany. Those thugs, the Russian government. Jews have been saying, never forget and never again. Never forget is related to history. You must learn history to try to learn so that prevent what happened in the past. Never again, Jews are saying practically they love what happened during the Holocaust should not happen. And look at it, what ISIS did. They had Americans in that. The brutality is something that are in a human law. So let's go to the next slide and stating a simple fact that Hitler, although Hitler became Chancellor of Germany in January 30 to 1932, Jewish life deteriorated instantaneously. He instituted all kinds of laws against the Jews. He wanted to create a superior race, whatever that meant, purifying the world from groups of people called the alien nation. I call it very simple, racial purification. Beside the Jews, he thought that there were Slovaks, the blacks, Jehovah's Witnesses, the handicapped, make no difference what handicap you have, and the gypsies. But these are the some groups. Okay. That vision, not only in Germany, he wanted to conquer the whole world. See, by 1921, every European country was under the spell of Nazi Germany. Either the Germans occupied them, or they had the puppet government. There was only 2 countries were not participating in a war. Sweden and Switzerland. Next slide is something very special in my interpretation about the Holocaust. For the Christian and I the broken glass. That day, November 9th, German government organized a small group of people going to Jewish homes, drag the Jews out to the street, burn electricity and wisdom. All the Jewish stores were broken in, Jewish institutions were destroyed, synagogues were burned down. Can you imagine the firefighters who were supposed to kill the fire? They were watching how synagogue was collapsing. They were cracking the habit of destruction. So-called intelligent people. By 1938, there were death camps, concentration camps, and death camps in Switzerland, all over Europe, and particularly in Poland. It was devastating. Just to tell you one quick example. The Jews were dragged out of their home, made them to bring the toothbrush. See, the streets in Europe were cobblestone, not asphalt. They, thousands of people on the sidewalk were watching. Jews were made to kneel down and clean the cobblestone with the toothbrush. And they were cracking and laughing. This is the kind of brutality. They get satisfaction out. You know, I used to work for IBM for 25 years. The computer science. I had no opportunity to go to Germany many times. On this, every time I had you. I just don't.
Could you turn the volume up just a little bit? Could you turn that just a little bit, the volume?
No. Thank you.
great, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So let's go to the next slide. This is just a simple street scene in Germany. And the windows were broken into Jewish floors. I like to bring this to your attention on the right hand side, the Nazi symbol, the swastika. The swastika is a very stated symbol. It has a very special meaning, two words, hate and killing. That's what it represents. And we're still living with it today. Can we show you a slide? So please, doesn't matter how young or old you are, don't use that word hate. We use that so casually that we never even think about it. My wife uses it, you cannot do that. They hate and killing. It's everyday life. To use that word, you know, and that all the evil in the past was caused by hate. All the evil which is going on today is caused by hate. It's very simple. Suppose you prepare a wonderful meal, invite candidates. One of your grandchildren will come into the dining room table and look. I said, I hate that. No, you don't. You may describe it. Or you walk in the mall, you look at the windows. You walk by one window and you see something there. I hate that thing over there. No, you don't. It's not my kind. So please, English language is very rich. I'm still learning it after 60 plus years. Then the guy from Google. I go and I Google the word what it means. So the next time I hear it, I understand it. It's so rich, so let's use the language proper. I would like to suggest that we place that four-letter word hate with two other four-letter words. Love and hope. See, those two words have real meaning to all of us. It provides us a future. It provides us happiness. So here are some attributes of those words. Trust, respect, care, honor, compromise, conflict, and stability. If you understand the meaning of those words, and I tell you this then, go and look it up in a dictionary and learn what it really means. And if you understand it, you will be a happy camper all your life. Whatever left for you, you will be always happy. So please, don't ever use the word hate. I'm desperately trying to call people off when I hear them. Now let's go to the next slide, please. Hungary had a leader called Litchfield. See, Hungary was part of Austria-Hungarian Empire. So his title, Admiral, came from when that area was one country based. He was in power in this particular made a commitment by a Hungarian nation, the people of Hungary, will align themselves with the philosophy of the fascist Nazi government in Germany. And Hitler trusted him. He was deposed in early part of 1930. Now let's talk about myself and my family. Let's go to the next slide, please. You see this building? This building still stands. I was there, took my grandchildren, my children and grandchildren there 2 years ago, my wife. To show them that I grew up as well as my wife. It is the building that I grew up. My parents moved in 1940. I was 4 years old. The ground floor, what you see here, the kindergarten nursery school. I went to kindergarten there. It's still a kindergarten school. The top floor, what you see, the big windows, everybody ballet and a dance studio. There was a lot of space for career. This building, because of the location, became an orphanage for over 150 Jewish children, ages about 3 to 14. These kids were brought in there in late 1923, early 1924. It was a safe year for us. Hungary had 24 districts, the city of Budapest had 24 districts. That was in the 70s. Very much accommodating Jewish life. Kosher bakeries, kosher butchers, grocery stores. But over 80% of the district were Jewish. Two major synagogues and a lot of little ones. We call them steeples. There was a very productive Jewish institution in that section. I will talk to you about the kids a little bit later. My father was looking at forced labor. So what is the forced labor? It's different than a constitution. Forced labor camps were basically local between their own country or community. Jews were taken away from their home and put them to slave labor. No pay, maybe 1 meal a day, very poor housing conditions. They were worked to death. My father was in an island, dependent on whatever job that particular place required. And the excuse was everybody had to go to work because Hungary is part of the war with Germany. My father was able to come home in December of 1943. The first thing my mother and my father did to find family members who lived outside in the periphery of the city of Budapest, outside of the southern district. And then they moved. There are over 12 people moved into our two-room apartment in that building. My life changed. I went to first grade. My mother enrolled me to first grade as a 7-year-old because I was held back the date of the birth. Cutoff was in September and I was born in October. My mother dressed me up and walked me to the school. Let's go to the next slide, please. Here is the building. It's still a school. I have pictures of it in my study. To my kids. After a couple of weeks, my mother said, and you can walk to school on your own. So I did. And for some reason or other, I felt uncomfortable for the first few days because I had heard all kinds of slogans, which I had no idea what it meant. Dirty Jew, Jews should be killed. They don't belong to our society. They take everything away from us. And similar things. I told my mother I cannot do that. I don't know what's going on, but it is bothering. Also, people speaking, very good. Remember, I'm 7-year-old. Go to first grade, learn clean driving arithmetic. They pushed me to the pavement. I got bruises. So my mother kept me home. Why this has happened? What is the reason? Kids going to school. I tell you what, I'm a Jew, and that was the only reason. The only other reason. See, I'm very proud Jewish. Try to go to synagogue as often as I can. I go to keeper of young people. I used to learn it without any hesitation until last summer. After October 7th, I'm not. We're a baseball camp, which I get from my school. It's dangerous now. Anti-Semitism is growing in leaps and bounds. In this country, believe it or not, around 3% of the population, and I don't want to use the four-letter word, dislike Jews. Why? Fullest. No different from you, and you are no different than me. It's just that's what you should forget. Human beings try to do the right thing. Really devastating. Feel what's really going on. The relationship between Hungary and Germany deteriorated by the beginning of 1922. The Hungarians did not expedite the deportation, rounding up the Jews and taking them to concentration camps. Hitler was very disappointed. Eventually, the Hungarian leader tried to reach out to Western powers, England, France, some other countries, including the United States, to help on the hour of the commitment of the government made with Hitler in the 1930s. Of course, German intelligence very quickly caught up. Hitler decided to occupy the country. And let's go to the next slide, please. The city of Budapest on the east side of the river Danube. There was a beautiful boulevard, there. There was a visitor with marble, white blue, called the ring road. The reason a ring road because you go from the north part of the river Danube to the south part in some circle. The radio and the newspaper were continuously saying, and the Germans are coming, so the Hungarians should welcome them. Thousands of people got to the sidewalks. That particular day, my grandfather took me out to the ring road. And I have seen it with my naked eye. On the essence, the Gestapo, the German military marched into Budapest. Wearing black boots, marching in blue steps, and with guns in the German uniform. And guess what? Every one of them are wearing an armband, which is plastic armband, representing two things, hate and killing, and that's what they represent. Short time, my father said, my grandfather said, I take you home, we have seen more than enough. And on the way home, from that ring road to the building was 3 blocks. He said, Andy, our life was doomed with permanent change. I really didn't know what he was talking about. I was too young and immature. But you know what? That happened 80 years ago and I haven't forgotten. And 2 years ago, I walked on the main road, was telling to my children and grandchildren. It's engraved. This is what you start doing. So now, let's freeze history in 1924 March. Let's go to the next slide, please. In the 21st century, hard to believe. On that day, August 11, 2017, I went home from work. I turned the television on to listen to the news. Holy behold, I have seen this horrifying picture. A bunch of thugs, white supremacists, were marching. The same slogans which I have ever sung was hitting. That is the Jews. The Jews are bloodsuckers. They should be killed. I've only mentioned to you two major white supremacists, but there are over 50 of them. You can Google it and you can see all over in this country. Proud boys and oath keepers. But there are all over. Okay. There's the Nazi flag. And this time, the Confederate flag. Are the Americans? I went to school in the South, college. And I traveled in the South. Expensive. I used to go with the hitchhike, with the Rahuya. I learned about what was going on. And America had dark days in the past, but we overcome most of it, and we still overcome it. This is the greatest country in the world. Don't ever forget it. There is no better country to live in. Can we tolerate that? The answer is no. And let's go to the next slide. I specifically put that one in. Here are these stuff. We're marching, creating disaster. Lady was killed, hundreds of people ended up in hospital. So it's really hard to handle. However, the next slide is even more devastating. Please go there. There are two pictures. On the right, you can see a good for nothing duck running around in the capital, wearing a sweatshirt, which is camouflage. Make the heart with the way it is. What sets you free? There was a German slogan in the background. You know, this is background and all over. It says, unmarked marks life. We're telling the youth, and if you work hard, you will be free. This is what happened, right? January 6, 2021, I found an insurrection. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I was shaking. This is the country I came to. Eisenhower was president when I came to this country. This was a peaceful country. Not anymore. I think I don't know how much was there. So she was very upset. I'm over that stage. When you look at it in a picture on the right side, these thugs, white supremacists that were attacking the capital, destroying our democracy, was screaming double belonging. I'm the vice president. Vice President Hans. He was there to perform his constitutional duty. Verifying the election was a formality in the capital on that particular day. But these thugs were willing to kill him. That guy was not a joke, it's a reality. It's the 21st century. We need to learn, and we can improve our society. So let's go to the next slide. Other segment after the occupation of Hungary by the Nazis, this is the other fight. According to national material, he was telling Hungary for one purpose, to expedite the deportation of the Hungarian Jews. Hungary had about 650,000 Jewish people lived there. He signed Budapest other cities. This man in 670 organized to ship about 550,000 Hungarian Jews to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Some ended up west of Hungary, but 95% ended up in Auschwitz-Birkenau. This man had his hand in the killing over 5 million people. Jewish tragic. He was very proud. He was the only person ever tried found guilty and executed in Israel. The next slide will give you same picture of Europe, which I showed at the other. Please go to the next slide. Ignore the colors of the dots and the sides. These were all concentration camps and death camps. You can see over here, Auschwitz-Birkenau, nearly Martinet. That was a devastating death camp. I did visit that last April. You could see the gas chambers and the crematorium side by side. The chilling effect on the life. Mauthausen was in Austria. In Germany, Bergen-Belsen, Buchenwald, and Dachau. They were the major death camps. Practically every small village in Germany had ways and means to kill the Jews. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is a very special slide. On the left-hand side, we see a picture of my parents. In a small village when my mother was born, called Hungary, and then my parents got married. I was 4 years old at the time. My parents visited my grandmother, Sarkany. Her husband, my grandfather, died when my mother was 1 year old. The significance of that village, you understand, the Hungarian language, the native tongue. Everybody spoke a very distinct German dialect called Schweiz. Schweiz is located in the southwest corner of Germany. It was so distant, and many of these Germans are difficult to understand it. Now we had dialects all over. When I went to school in the south, and I moved to the Midwest, and I used some of the slangs, people said, "Where are you?" Chicago was born in Hungary. No. In the United States. I went to school in East Tennessee. Oh, yeah, now I understand. True. Dialogues existing, but that was very distant. That particular dialogue actually saved my family. On the right side, you can read it. This gentleman over here is my father. I will take that picture by as a coincidence. He just arrived with a group of Jews to one of the concentration. Why he just arrived? He's still wearing the civilian clothing. Because as soon as the train arrived and embarked on it, everything was confiscated from the Jews. He gave them a strike uniform and put them to work, kill them. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is a real cattle car, not an invaliid. It's located and displayed. This one, in Sarkany. I walked up to it and I touched it. And I was trembling and crying because I knew in that cattle car, hundreds of Jews were transported and slaughtered, slaughtered. By the way, they treat the animals in a slaughterhouse better than the Nazi treated the Jews. Practically every German business or companies used to the slave labor. Let's go back to Hungary. The Hungarian government issued a law. And go to the next slide, please. No. Go back.
Yeah.
We're missing this slide. Missing the conference slide.
Is that it?
Yes. The law states that the 8th of National Control that every Jew of Hungary must wear a yellow star and the outer garment on the left-hand side of their clothing. I did wear it too. I used to have a picture, but something disappeared. My parents had. So if you lack the building where you live in, whatever reason, they know you are a Jew. And if you didn't, somebody knew, then you are Jewish. That was a death sentence. That was their very simple. People who kill the Jews, they're not persecuting them, there is no reason. There's no laws. They just walk away. I worked it, even though I was in the building when I was told not to leave. These children who were in the building, over 150 of us, they all got the yellow star. You were told never leave the building under any circumstances. You must wear the yellow star. Because the Hungarian Nazi Party, from the Hungarian Nazi Party, called the Arrow Cross Party, they were coming in regular and were asking the Jews. However, these children were told that we must keep our mouth shut all the time. They had in their house, even though there were a lot of empty space in the building. Every apartment building in Hungary had an area, I call it a dungeon, it's like a cell. It was storage area for heating purposes. We were heating our apartment with either coal or wood, whatever you had. It's a wet, clay flooring. Our building, there was 2 small windows for ventilation and 1 light bulb. We children were all the time there, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We were told never talk, very quiet to talk silence. Because of the kindergarten had cuts and burns, we didn't have to sit and lay down on a wet clay floor. It was miserable. We got 1 meal a day. Whatever it was created, because there was nothing that was available. We were always cold. We were always hungry. We were always petrified. What happened in the next moment? The Hungarian officers were coming into the building, rounded up the audience regularly, put them to the wall, hands up like that, facing the wall. I had seen it. I sneaked out from the dungeon area, and I had seen my mother, a kindergarten teacher, and others whom I knew from the building. Remember, I am just passing 7 going toward 8. Certain things that doesn't disappear. But we manage. The only bright moment in the summer of 1944, go to the next slide, please. The Swedish government spent 12 volumes to look after Swedish properties in the country. When he arrived, he immediately recognized what's going on. He was a very distinguished gentleman who had a great deal of influence with the Hungarian and German Nazis. He told them, there are properties belong to Sweden and you cannot enter. He created a safe house and had Jews to move in them. My second cousin, whom I did see 2 years ago, is still living in the same apartment when he was moved in 1940. That man saved over 80,000 Hungarian Jews. He worked with ambassadors and consulars who were sympathetic to his cause, trying to find documents, falsifying documents, to get the Jews out of the country, or provide them some kind of a safe haven. Fast forward, when a war ended in July of 1945, he was picked by the Soviets. You know, they used to get Holocaust material with Joseph Stalin, the brutality of communism. And then he arrived to that meeting about what's going on related to after the war. He was arrested by the Soviets, accused of a CIA spy. Never heard about him after. There were rumors all over, but more like he died sometime into Gulag. Just like no of them was died. That he was actually murdered. That's my opinion. The next slide is just a collage picture I put together from the summer of 1944 in Europe. You can see it clearly with the yellow star, the train station, on the Jews around it up. But there are thousands of pictures available on Google. Others were moving toward end of August, beginning of September of 1944. The Hungarian government issued additional restrictions, particularly the Jews of Europe. And go to the next slide, please. They created a Budapest ghetto. This territory happened to be in the 7th district. It's 74 acres inside, not very big. You know approximately what young people don't know exactly 74 acres. What you do, not very big. There are two red circles. The red circle with the plus line is the building I built in Roma. The other red circle with nothing in it is where the school I attended. All the streets, what you can see, were blocked by 7-foot stone walls. You couldn't get in or out. There were only 4 gates to the whole area. I think there was a synagogue here. This is a historical monument for Europe. It can house over 3,000 worshippers in a given time. That area eventually became a graveyard of hundreds of Jews from the ghetto. A couple of stories about the ghetto. The first related to Midara. These children were periodically allowed to play in the culture. They were used to culture in the building. Strict supervision. And particularly nice fall day, which had been end of September, beginning of October 1944. We were playing there, kids running around. This was when we had opportunity to have fresh air, because we were always in the venting area. How we were playing around, I hit my head and started to bleed quite bad. People tried to catch up my bleeding head with the first aid from the kindergarten. My period, my mother panicked, and my kindergarten teacher rose, said, "Carl, we will take care of Andy." First thing she did, remove the yellow stuff from out of the garment. And then she told me, "And you keep your mouth shut, you look down, hold my hand as hard as you can, and you walk with me. No words. You have to do it." And I panicked, I was crying. I was told, I was in the building, I must wear the yellow straw, go quietly. Those took me to the leader's gate, go to hospital. When we arrived to the gate, the God left us, "Show me your ID." So she does. Then paused, said, "But you are not a Jew. What are you doing in a ghetto? That's only for the Jews." The non-Jews were asked to leave the ghetto. Rosemary calmly said, "Can't you see, my son's head is bleeding. I'm trying to take him to the hospital. I lost my husband a few years back. I had no place to go. So I stayed in my one apartment." Anyway, they carried on a conversation. God let us out. Went to the hospital where they gave us 7 blocks from the gate. Doctors fetched me out. On the way back, the guards asked the same type of question outside. Eventually, we get back. Of course, when we got back to the building where we lived, everybody was happy. Then we survived. girl's story is significant. Number one, she never was married. She was a spinster. Number two, was a devoted Catholic, never missed a mass. Every Sunday, you could see reading in her top floor. We have seen her to go to church. Number three, she was a human being. She knew what was going on in her heart, was part of us. She was willing to sacrifice her life. The same teaching was we starting to today. We lost her problem will not be here. There were non-Jews who made sacrifices. My brother-in-law was having for 7 months, from building to building, to block, trying to survive and escape the Nazis. My grandfather was hiding 5 months in basements from one building to the next one to avoid the Nazis. But I can tell you all kinds of interesting stories, and one I will interject right now, so then you will appreciate what some people need to do. There was a British gentleman, his name is Nicholas Lincoln. His friend invited him to Czechoslovakia to go on vacation. When he arrived, he realized what the Nazis doing in Czechoslovakia. And told his friend, I cannot go on vacation. I have a higher important things to do. And he single-handed saved 684 Jewish children, found home for every one of them in England. Then, after the war, he aged like all of us, and on his 100th birthday, there was a big celebration. What he did, a huge theater was filled with people, no empty seats. And in the proceedings, the master of ceremony said, for a moment, I would like to ask, who was saved by Uncle Mendel, get up. Guess what? Everybody in the theater got up. But he only said, keep her marinated for children. Oh, when those kids get married, they have children. And the children get married, and they have children. So when a Jew says, we save one life, to save the whole world, remember, it's significant. He was celebrated, he died at age 104. And there is a wonderful documentary called The Lakers Family. But there were others. For example, there was a very famous optical company, German company called Light, that was the finest cameras and lenses were made by. That company, not owned by Jews, had only Jews for salesperson around the world, upon the ticket. They had them, provided them one-way ticket, not to come back to Germany after. So they were good people. So now, the second story, it could have happened sometimes early part of November. The Hungarian cops were coming in all the time, harassing. They heard the airplanes were flying all the time, bombardment. Our building was hit 4 times. The top floor was completely destroyed. At night, I slipped up the down to the area. I had seen search lights looking for airplanes. The noise was devastating. So they came in the early morning, grounded up all the others, took them away to a correction. There were hundreds of correction places existed in the city of Budapest. Thousands of Jews were lined up there. Go through some processes, what the Hungarian and German Nazis did. And eventually take them to a railroad station, shifted to that house. How we were standing there, my grandmother from the village, who spoke perfect of that, fly, down, and noticed the national guard, dashed up to him, and started to speak in this double. And asked the guard, son, couldn't believe in you. Said, what are you doing here? You're not a fool. Getting the conversation. Said, anybody who speaks that language cannot be a Jew. Said, go home. You don't belong to. But she had the president and the stable thinking. And she said, well, our sisters and my cousin, are in line. He came up from the village. Hoping that the city will provide safer place than where we live. The Ashton got powers and said, take your family, go home. My grandmother get all the people who were taken away from our building, rounded up back to the building. Because of her good thinking, they are. So you never know. When an opportunity arises, take advantage of it. Don't pass it up. Be sure that it's the right thing to do. The war was going on, and it was unbearable for anyone. How did we move into our Christmas time, December 1944? Slowly but surely things calmed down. So we knew something had to happen. The war had to come to an end. The Hungarian troops were arrested regularly. They didn't do that anymore. The bombardment stopped. Gunshot slowed down. We didn't know exactly what. Because even though we had radio, the wavelengths were jammed by the Nazis. These parties came away. It took everybody away from the building from the time except the kids. They didn't realize these were always 5, 10 later. Little kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Kids in bachelor all the time. But we didn't. They didn't realize that we are there in the alternate. They didn't bother us. So when they came at the end of December, rounded up the people whom they could find in the building at the time, took them to our collection. They were standing in line, they knew what was going to happen. But from our building, they stopped, took the people away in a late afternoon in December, get dark very quickly. So they were standing in line, eventually the last speaker came on. We cannot trust everybody, it's too dark. So it's not trusted, go home, get you tomorrow. Everybody was taken away from the building, came back. These stuff never came back. Next day or the day after. I'll return January 1945. On the 17th of January, there are 2 hospitals, military persons shows up. They didn't look Nazis or Hungarians. They were Soviet troops. And the body of them, they were saying, the Budapest Act is liberated. Of course, everyone was really happy. Hungary was liberated by the Soviets by end of February of 1945. What are we going to do? Before I talk about it, just a couple of pictures about the walls, the ghetto, and the gate. The next picture will show you a makeshift gate. And the next one will show you the 7-foot stone wall. So, my grandmother from the village said, I will walk back to about 7 miles and see my home and my business. She owned the general store. Everybody else are in the village. Reason I know that because after the war, the Litchfield came out, and everybody was kissing her, hugging her when they came to the store. When we arrived, one of her neighbors was a good friend, a farmer's wife, and they carried a conversation. However, she also said the such story, my friend. Go to the next slide, please. My grandmother owned that white dog. My right hand side is my cousin Tom, who was 3 years older than I. And this little guy is me. We love the dog. We played with it every time and we used to play piano in a village. It's a gentle animal. Never forget his name. I use his name in my password, in my username. Just like little boy I am still playing. The doctor was coming around regularly, looking for food. And when my grandmother lived with us in a ghetto, there was nobody there in the house. Friendly neighbor said, I tried the dog every time and I did see it. It came around. The war was practically over. The dog was coming around again. Friendly neighbor hadn't noticed. The other neighbor of my grandmother was a Hungarian Nazi. He walked into his house, gets his gun, and guess what? Here's the dog. What did you do that for? The friendly neighbor said. And I paraphrase what my grandmother told us. She said, it belongs to you. It must die. This is what ancient cost. That's what I want. It's devastating. So after my grandmother walked back to the city and took my cousin Tom and I to the village. We went to school there. And the next I show you my second grade class picture. The only building survived in the village is a Catholic church. You can run to Catholic school, preach the nuns, there were a house down there, we're all teachers. Everybody knew I was school, there was a dozen other Jews were there. Everybody knew. The kids got along very well. Was no issue. They were running around bachelor, go to the river Danube and was swimming. Clark looks good. Just get in the water, not to sing. But we get along. We were able to play. My mother visited me and my aunt visited my cousin regularly. What happened with my dad? No words. So my mother came in June of 1945 and said, Andy, I take you home. You need to help because I am working. You need to clean. You need to cook. She taught me both. Now I'm going toward age 8. Cooking. She showed me how to peel the potato, clean the carrots, chop it up, prepare everything for her when she comes home. She taught me how to build the fire. Why? Because I had to scrub the floor to clean the house. Now we have a lot of convenience, which we never had. How I could clean the floor? Simple. I had to get the wood from the storage area in the dungeon, bring it out, chop it up, and build a fire in the stove. Make the hot water, you put in your bucket, get down on your knees with a brush and soap and scrub the floor. You want to convince. I actually learned how to cook. And I'm still cooking. And every now and then I tell my wife, get out of the kitchen, I will do dinner. And then she is scared. Oh, you do the dishes too? I went to school for watch the cooking channel. I clean it and I cook. So I never make them. But anyway, another example. You have a refrigerator. You need something, a cold drink, or a fruit, you take it out. You wash it, sit down and eat it. And what we have is called ice box. Two words, ice box. And literally it was a box with two compartments. One was for ice, one was for the food. It had 4 racks. Every day. When they came into the culture, yeah, ice. I had to go down there, buy a piece of ice, I chopped it up, put it into a section which is ice. And the food went the other one. It may have lasted 1 day. Not very often. I had to clean that one every day. So whatever you have, appreciate it, cherish it, because some people just don't have it. So how we reach later part of the 1940s. There was no stable government in Hungary for years. There were multiple parties, and one party came after to power. The Socialist Party gained power in 1949. And within a year later, Communist Party with an election to power. It was Soviet communism. Soviet communism was as brutal as you could possibly imagine. Joseph Stalin slaughtered several million of his own people to protect the communism, but he envisioned, which his group of people. He was a cruel man. He created the gulag. He had no hard feelings for killing people. There is somebody like him. Vladimir Putin is no different than a tough murderer. I am not very much favored in Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine's hand was in of killing Jews during the Second World War. But I'm rooting for them to win the war, to eliminate that person who can destroy the world. We have responsibility to do very best to support the Ukrainians. I went to high school from 1951 to 55. They were good years. You were afraid to open your mouth because you felt and the walls and the ceiling, they were all burned by the communists. If you want to talk to them about something more political, with your friends, you talk to them and walk on the street casually. How can I do it? If you caught of seeing something which wasn't quite kosher with respect to the communist ideology, you were lucky if you were taken to the police. If you are not that lucky and ended up in a place, and you may never survive. The gulag existed all over in the Eastern European countries with the Soviet Union occupied. There is. So when I applied to go to university in my senior year high school, by the way, and under communist system, everything owned by the government. My father lost everything what she had built after when he returned. Yes. In July of 1945, the same rose who saved my life was sleeping top of her lung. My mother's name, the Clara. So she and I dashed to the corridor in the top floor. And then she said, "Your husband Steve is home." He didn't cry. And when he did, I dashed from the top floor to the ground floor, faster than any rock that ever could move. There was a man there. I hugged him, I kissed him. I was crying. I barely could see. And then I took 3 steps back like this. And I looked at him. I did not recognize my own dad. It was maybe 1975. Trying to describe to you what is 75. Today I take 131 pounds. To think about me, 60 pounds light. Skin and bone. Took my mother over a year to nourish him back some human life. During that period of time, he was screaming. He was crying during the night, walking up and down, full of apartment. My mother said, "Andy, leave that alone. He's really in the Holocaust, to the death camp like he was for months in Holocaust." That is, he never recovered, but able to make a constructive life happen. My little sister was born after the war, 1948. So I'm 12 years old with her. She lives in Jerusalem. But the condition in my high school, and particularly the senior year, was really very, very difficult. All of us, no exception. Jew, non-Jew, they make it. The communist system was brutal. My parents had to work, and they barely made enough money to put food on it and pay the rent. But the conditions of my started to loosen up a little bit. And because the communist system was loosening things up, there is more activity took place in Hungary from 1955 to 1956. And a group of Hungarians who were sort of politicians, like in power, they got together with academia, the intelligentsia, and said, "We need to change the system. That's not for Hungary. That communism is not for us." And they organized a march and a demonstration in 1956 fall. Since I couldn't go to university, I was able to go in as a trade school. I wanted to become, at that time, a tool and die worker. Making the living, getting ready, having a family. How we were moving through the summer of 1956, this urge by the group of people spread around the country. There was designated the October 23rd of 1956, when this march took place, the demonstration. There were a lot of speeches. And the leaders of the group said, "You go to the radio station. You want to read the proclamation." And then the speeches were over. We started to march toward the radio station. In an hour street, I happened to be in a front line. When we arrived, we wanted to go into the building. 2 guards with guns. Bullets in the air to disperse the crowd. Nobody left. That time it started the Hungarian Revolution, which lasted 8 days. It's like a civil war. There are over 50,000 Hungarian lives lost during that period of time. And about 250,000 Hungarians left the country, escaped, just like the Ukrainians escaped when the Russians came. All went to the West. maybe not all, but most. But you try to survive. The revolution won on my birthday. I was able to walk out of the house, which I showed it to you, on my 20th birthday, breathe the first time, fresh air, freedom. Didn't know what it was. Because under the communist system, I couldn't go to Sarkany. Because you were called, was a black spot on your so-called report card, that you wore. Freedom of choice, no such thing. I was 18 years old. I had to register. Wasn't a choice. Go to vote. When an election was held, I had to go to the precinct to vote. Wasn't a choice. Hey, you don't want to vote, you don't vote. You don't want to register, you don't have. But I had. And then I got my ballot. And made the selection. There was somebody standing behind me and looking over my shoulder. There I put the X, which part, and then I put him on comments. Otherwise, I would take an away. That was the biggest hoax in election in Hungarian history. Or any history. Next day, the newspaper said 99% of the Hungarians proved the Communist Party. After the revolution was victorious, there's a revolutionary government was created. Now started to function quickly. In a meanwhile, the Soviet troops were all over the city of Budapest. When a revolution started, they disappeared to the periphery of the city of Budapest. By the middle of November, they all came back with tanks, armored vehicles, with soldiers, avenging this for everything inside. That was the day on November 23rd, and I told my parents, I have no future in this country. I knew that quite a few friends of mine already escaped. I said, I'm leaving and taking them. Here's the country, and there's the future. We can overlook the first things, some paper and having it, a couple of sandwiches, and no money. I knew a little Russian because we were forced to learn Russian in high school. It took me 3 weeks to go from Budapest to Vienna. It's 160 miles. I got it. The reason I couldn't get into university, I was rejected by the Hungarian Department of Education, is very simple. Let me show you the next slide, please. It is my original birth certificate. The red circle, you see my name, first name, middle name, second line, my sex, third line is abbreviation of my religion. Go to the next slide, is the official translation, which I submitted to the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Authority when I became citizen. In the red box, it says the same thing. So everybody on the Zoom, you could hide personal documents. Number two, not hiding was able to capital. You know, capitalism and communism are about 100 people apart. The communism is doing everything to destroy human life, pushing on people to the lowest common denominator. Capitalism provides competition, entrepreneurship, energy, creativity. That's the reason we are the greatest country in the world. So no wonder, if we have no money, no influence. So my parents couldn't grasp some oppression to get me into the university. It was sad times, not only for me, but thousands of others. But when young November 23rd, I left. I arrived to Austria to tell you the story about my escape and all the different talk. I was able to get the United Embassy. When I get there, I was very lucky to able to go inside. They were talking to people lined up, and everybody wants to come to this country. Why? Because we are the best. I get there 4 o'clock in the morning. That was the first thing I. When the guy came to open the gate with my hands, and Hungarian was trying to leave it in me. I was lucky. That's the reason I'm here. I was able to come to the United States of America. So let's go to the next slide, please. Just 2 pictures about the Hungarian Revolution. The top one, on my birthday, celebration of victory. In the middle of November, when a Soviet tanks came back and destroyed everything inside. There are a large number of pictures. Actually, on a Time magazine, there was headlines about the Hungarian Revolution. So go to the next slide, please. When I received my documents for the American Embassy, doesn't need a day. We were meeting at a railway station. We were transported from Vienna to Bremerhaven. This is the ship I came across. It's a tiny ship, only 40,000 pounds. 40,000 tons. The ocean line, I know what you see, crosses the ocean in Jordan have this, took us 18 days. Just like I thought many times that we would sing. I wasn't seasick, and I volunteered to have the staff, whatever we had to do, cleaning the toilet, serving food, whatever. Privilege, right? I was able to get to the top deck. Whenever I was free. Breathing the salty air, free air, seeing boats coming east and west, not many. Last day, on the 18th day, I'm in a top deck, and I noticed something in the distance, and I make it up, and it is a statue. And I recognize the statue from my birth history, from high school. I started to cry. People around me, those people who you can see, what are you crying about? I said, you see that statue? There's no big deal, you know that statue. No, that statue is called Statue of Liberty. Means one word, freedom. So you and I have no other place in the world has the kind of freedom what we have, to cherish it, doing the right thing. So let's go to the next slide. This is the lady. She is more beautiful than my wife. There is a poem in a plaque on this statue, written by a Jewish lady in the late 1800s. And what the poem said, representing the United States of America. I didn't memorize it, so I'll be reading it. Didn't you tire your food, your hollow message yearning to breathe free? The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest toasting. I lift my lamp beside golden door. This is what America. It welcomes everybody legally. That's the reason I'm here. Because I came as a Hungarian refugee. The House of Representatives and the Senate on the Rising Act declared certain number of Hungarian refugees were allowed to come to this country. There was really over 40,000. I was one of them. The first 2 years, I was temporary resident of the United States. And then I went to interview the Immigration and Naturalization Authority of College. And I go into, for the interview, I was already in college, so I spoke some. There was a fly about 2 inches thick on me. I said to myself, how did you get all this information? That I was sick. They knew my grades. I didn't know who were my friends in college. It's amazing. Couldn't believe it. After a couple hours of having conversation, including politics, and I went to school in East Tennessee. So at that time I was familiar with the South. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. The guy told me, he said, don't worry, you will get your green card very soon. Get my green card, eventually became citizen in 1961. But this is something remarkable. And I tell to the students, if you have a chance, get your parents to take you there. I took my children. And I say, this statue represents something very special. The next slide, not a very pleasant one. You go to the next slide, please. Anti-Semitism is growing in leaps and bounds. Anti-Semitism is very simple. Hating the Jews. That's how it turns. From 2020 to 2021, there are 34% higher anti-Semitic incidents occurring in this country. And from October 7th, when Hamas began accusing Israel, it's 400%, fourfold. That's the reason I will raise my up that I am blocking the speech and not differently my own. And everybody abuses the concept of freedom of speech. They think I can say anything I want to. No, you don't. There are consequences when you open your mouth. And I tell to the student, be careful what you say, because those can hurt permanently for life. I can hit you with a fish, knock out the teeth, everything is solved with the badges, and a few weeks later you have a day. But if I say something nasty, and I heard that when I went to college in the South, they are going to be. That's one example. I worked in a hotel in the summertime between my junior year and senior year and until when I graduated from college. In a small Virginia town. Because there was a summer place where a lot of people could go vacation. I was a waiter, an occasional cook. Many times the chef asked me, Hungarian. One particular Sunday, there were 4 regular bakers, 2 ladies and 2 men. The 2 men were blacks. One young, one was older. The older one, I never forget his name. His name was Wilson, and I loved him. He taught me everything about how to serve people come. So when you walk into, you had me or the waiter, you got first class service. One Sunday, after breakfast, when we closed down the restaurant, the hotel, so we were working from 7 to 10, 10 to 12 we were out, 12 to 2 was lunch, and then shut down until 5 o'clock, and 5:32, usually about 9 to 10 o'clock for dinner. The younger black guy said, my home is your home, come on. You come home from church, you come for the afternoon for food and cookies. Two small children. She was took him on. And they went. Next morning, Monday morning. First, that's came back. The hostess. They would talk. And the hostess called me, Andy, come over here. The owner manager wants to see you. Didn't make any big deal out of it. So I walked up to his office, knocked it over. She'd come on in, I'd go in, she'd sit down. And I never should say that, but I would say very much with people. He looked at me and said, you don't visit the liberals. And I almost died. I looked at him. Wait a minute, what did you say? I said, I survived the Nazis. You don't tell me what I can do or what I cannot do in this country. I walked out. I anticipated the new part. I wasn't. Why? Because I went to a religious school, Southern Presbyterian College. If I would go back to the college and tell them what happened, they would believe me, it would be very few. I understand what happened. And I took a course, other than the course in college, the history of the South, Alabama, Louisiana, the Carolinas, Georgia, some parts of Florida, Tennessee, southern parts of Virginia. I traveled all over with my thumb. I was curious. I had friends from the college all over. So I just got on a rope, the small suitcase, got on a rope. You cannot do that. I understand. But this country is still the best bird. So we cancel this speech. John Lewis was a congressman from the state of Georgia, died a few years back. Distinguished black leader of the South. And he said, I believe in the freedom of speech, but I also believe that we have an obligation to condemn speech that is racist, bigoted, anti-Semitic, or hateful. Be careful what you say. The country, President of and live by it. The Constitution is valued in the freedom of speech. It has a caveat. The next few slides is about my family and me, or I, it's a problem. Go to the next slide, please. I played semi-professional soccer back in Hungary. I was in a college varsity team. My college graduation picture. But here's a picture of three pictures put together. I was 75 years young. Remember the word young? Because you just get older, you never get old. It's also how 75. The young lady was my colleague. We worked on our project. And in my office said, Andy, you should do a triathlon. And I said, what's the triathlon? Please explain. So she was saying, well, you need to swim. And I know you know how to swim. You can ride a bike. Everybody knows how to ride a bike. And you run or walk. Perfect. Well, she laid it back. And she twisted my arm. She was a young mother in the late 30s, early 40s, with two small children. She did the triathlon the year before. And said, I had a lot of fun. So she convinced me. I sent her my $100 online. Maybe I lose $100, no big deal. I lost more in my life than $100. But I trained for 4 months, 5, 6 days a week. My wife was ready to divorce me. You're never home. You're either a fool, coming around, driving the bar which is right. How about doing things at home? I said, you've only left for a short time. Why did you come back? I got to put this. First Wednesday of July, when an event is held, every year is held in the quasi-amusement park. I show up with my friend, and you take the back. We will do everything together. When I arrived, I was scared. But when I looked at there were 400 people there, the youngest one was 13. I was happy to be the oldest. Having fun. It's chaotic. I didn't said, go to the lake to swim. We lined up in 4 groups. We had put the magic mark of the numbers and letters on our leg. He said, go and swim. The only thing I say, keep down, help me to get to leg 1. Swimming over half a mile. Here I am. Come down in the water. Faster. Dash from the bottle to the bike. Pick up the bike. I already told the course, so it wasn't strange. Had about 5 major hills. I got in the bike and flat. And I thought I would die on the hills. But people were tracking, people running around in the neighborhood. Keep going, keep going. And then I am. Coming back after 12.5 miles of riding. Put the bike back. I lined up and I supposed to go out and run. 5 kilometers, which is 3.1 miles. It's a long distance. And I started to run. Going down, which happened with this one. Then you turn around and back. But sort of sloping back. So it was not so bad. Coming back, the last 500 yards were killing. You better be able to walk. That's fun. But I tried very hard. Here I am. Coming to finish line. Because I was in the last group of swimmers, I got 10 minutes of through my time. So I did a course in under 2 hours and 10 minutes. I was jubilant. I achieved something I never could possibly do. The lesson to the students and to all of us is never too late to set goals as high as you want and work to achieve it because you can. It's nothing impossible. I was telling to my both 2 of my children. The moon is just a short distance away, but you can plan to go higher. Got to try. If you don't try, you never will succeed. But if you try, you always succeed. Even if you are scared. I published over 30 papers in my scientific career. Some of them were negative. But that negative is implied the people not to try what I did. So even something is negative, it turns into positive. So make sure that you do the best what you can. Don't compare yourself to anybody. You're your own individuals. I tell to the students, you don't study for the parents, you don't study for the teachers, you don't study for the friends. You learn for yourself. Knowledge is permanent. You can do everything in the world, but a lot is what you gain by learning. And you learn every day. It stays with you the rest of your life. So it's very important. The next slide Yes, well, I did. I mentioned to you earlier that my second cousin lived, he's in her apartment. My wife is in the beige sweater, and my cousin Susan is right next to her, and those three are her children. She just lost 87 very recently. 86. She's 1 year younger than me. On the right hand side, on the top, we are visiting a very dear friend. The young gentleman is a physician, was educated in care. He's from New Haven, married an Israeli girl, and we visited them. They have 3 wonderful boys. On the 3 of them today is in America. The farm, we were walking in a shopping area in Jerusalem, buying something. I wanted to buy something for my wife. We were looking for a jewelry store. We bumped into this lady. She was in our neighbors in Binghamton, New York, who moved to Israel with her family. I haven't seen her for 30 years. So you never know. When you walk around some place in strange places, somebody will call your name out. Tell you a quick story. 12 years ago, I took a group of people on a mission to Cuba. At the time, we couldn't go to Cuba unless we had some special arrangement in the State Department. I took 30 people. Then we were there. Went to outside of Havana. Stayed in the hotel. For the evening, came down from our floor an elevator. We spoke Hungarian to each other. Why? Because nobody would understand us. So we are talking to each other Hungarian, which is gravitational, because we only speak English in our house. Never thought our children are Hungarian. They picked up a few words here and there. Okay? We come into the elevator. We get out. There's a young couple. Says, we do speak Hungarian. We are here for our honey from Budapest. So you never know who you bump into. They understood everything what you said. You don't understand anything straight. So you never know. Let's go to the next slide, please. You can see 3 pictures here with a big one now. I was running 5 days every year around, 5, 6 of them. My best one was just like under 38 minutes. For an 80-year-old wasn't so bad. I had a heart attack, massive heart attack, 6 days. I'm in a gym 4 or 5 times a week. I do my very best. I spin, I do yoga, I do some cardio, because physical fitness makes you smart, strong, blood flowing in the right place. Don't be attached to things, please. That's what that people. This is my wife and I in Litchfield, walking on a beach on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. And here is a very special picture. My grandson, that he was the guy with the glasses, had the bar mitzvah. In Jewish tradition, when a boy becomes 13, it's go to a religious ceremony. He became fully responsible for his religious duty. So right in front of Jono is myself and my wife. Behind me is my son David and his wife, and the boy's mother and their daughter. Behind my wife is our daughter, her husband, and 3 children. That guy with the red tie is this little guy over here. He looks like a missionary. He's a freshman in college. But that girl who is Next to her, next to him, she's a second year graduate student in forensic psychology. I had no idea what. And I don't want to know. Then my daughter wrote her doctorate dissertation, and she gave it to me the book. I was able to read the first page. The rest of them, I didn't understand the book. But you know, I published over 30 papers. Not something related to computers, but some shape or other. I was trained as a mathematician, computer science in graduate school. But whatever I learned, I already took on. And let's go to the next slide, please. I received a certificate for the United Colorado Memorial Museum for the work I did as a volunteer. Why? Because it is important to me, and it is important to all of us to know what happened from 1930 to 1960. That 30 years was a devastating time in world history. Not only the Holocaust, but Second World War, and dying of millions of people unnecessarily. We cannot get away from the war. We have it all over. Just look at it, what's going on today. China and Russia against the US. We better keep our eye on North Korea. They're all types. Self-proclaimed individuals want to propagate their own theology or their ideology, doesn't matter how you call it. They are not looking after anybody else. We must look after each other. Able to look each other in the eye, instead of the iPhone or the tablet. Telling the students, it's a poison. It's a very wonderful thing. I use my cell phone for communication. Otherwise, I don't. Facebook, TikTok, and others which exist. Be careful what are you using. You can learn from it, but you can destroy yourself. I tell to the student, don't put anything out there, because you cannot take it out. So don't post unless you know exactly what to do. So we are living in difficult times. And my passion was, I will do this as long as I physically and mentally capable of doing it. Right now, from now on through May, I have 40 presentations to make. And I travel about 5,000 miles. My contribution for my belief. I'm a black Jew, and I think my history going back. And I tell to the students, you need to do your history. Your little family tree. And then you're looking at the great grandparents, they came from someplace, they're not Native American. Be proud who you are. Heads up, never down. Each individual has a characteristic, and cherish what you have. Don't compare. You are not better than the next one, or the next one is not better than you. We are individuals. And I tell to the students, when they born, naturally they murders that in a grave, there is a imaginary toolbox. There are tools in it, fancy tools. Those tools are for them to use to create a successful future. And if you use it right, there's no limit. No limit. You want to be a doctor? Put your time in at an hard work, you become a doctor. After my son graduated from college, my family became a legitimate physician for 12 years. We just finally, last year, paid up the money what she borrowed to go to medical school. It's not an easy thing. You put your time and energy and effort, what you want to achieve, you will be successful all the time, or 100% of the time. You need to work hard, smart, and don't be afraid of asking questions. These are you ask, but you want to know. So anyway, thank you very much for coming in this terrible weather. I hope my life will be only a little bit easier than coming. Let me give you, if you want to ask any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
In your photograph, when you were in second grade,
Yes.
why weren't there any little girls in the picture?
Oh. Luckily, Hungary, even when I was in high school. My boys and girls were separate class. So they were never mixed. I went back to Hungary, I don't know, long time ago, the first time. I visited the high school and then boys and girls were holding hands and singing. The girls had a different time and a big agenda. So they would go to the workshop to play and walk. They all were separated. Even in the building, there was a girl section, and a door there, the good way. That was a strange phenomenon today from the United States, in high school. You go to the board, with her.